morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we're in a situation where we've had two very good sets that have come out in the not too distant past. And we've got one very good set which is coming out in the not too distant future. And we need to have a look at which of these sets you should be focusing on, which is deserving of your investment. And when I say investment, I'm not necessarily talking money here. I'm talking about which set should you care more about, because we're not all going to be going after every set massively. So which one should we be having a look at? Well, let's start with oldest to newest, and let's have a look at Surging Sparks. Because you see, Surging Sparks is a good set, and arguably been overshadowed and about to be overshadowed more. But make no mistake about it, Surging Sparks is a very, very good set. I mean, if nothing else, it's got the Pikachu, which was for a short time the biggest card in the Scarlet and Violet era. It's not anymore, it already got jumped, I'm afraid. But for a short period, it was the biggest card in the Scarlet and Violet era. We've got the Latias, great card, gives free retreat to basic Pokemon, but also phenomenal artwork, valuable card, and literally has connecting artwork with the Latios, which is not a good playable card, I should add, but, you know, still beautiful, right? Okacheke artwork, absolutely adore it. We are starting to see more Pokemon card artists being invited to big tournaments. There's artists coming to EUIC end of next week. So I'm just saying, can we have Okacheke brought over at some point? Because I'd quite like to tell them how awesome their art is, if that's okay. But the point is, we've got some big cards in the set. Pikachu, big card. Latias, big card. Even the Milotic at the moment is like a $150 card. The Pikachu is a pretty big card. And then Hydreigon, pretty big card value-wise, but also wonderful Akira Igawa artwork. One of the artists, actually, who was at the World Championships in Honolulu this past summer. And just a very good set. And then in terms of playability, actually ended up being a slightly underwhelming set, I'll be honest with you. It's not actually proven to be a huge set playability-wise. Pikachu has certainly proven to be a decently playable card. And Archaladon is absolutely legit. That is a top-tier deck. And Milotic is quite good as a blocking deck with a bunch of other stuff. But the set as a whole really looked like it was going to end up being very cool. And it wasn't that great playability-wise in the end. Although we had stuff like Energy Search Pro, which turned out to be sneaky, very, very good. Precious Trolley, some of the ace specs in the set were phenomenal. But the EXs, like I say, bit of Pikachu, Archaladon, obviously Latias as a tech. And that really did seem to be about it. But where did we go after Surging Sparks? Well, we went to Prismatic Evolutions. Yes, it's a phenomenal set. It's a giant set. It's a huge set. It is, frankly, a very, 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 very big deal. It's a ridiculous set. And one of the problems you're going to find with this set is it's just very hard to find right now. Very hard to get this for retail. Every product that comes out sells out immediately. It is a difficult set to get hold of. And one of the issues with this is it is actually skewing everything quite a bit. The price of singles, etc. is a bit higher because of the fact that the set is sold out, and the set being sold out means that essentially we see the value of all the singles jumping up far more than maybe they might otherwise. Completely get all of that. Having said that, it's still a phenomenal set. I told you Pikachu was the biggest card in the Scarlet and Violet era when it released. That was true. Yeah. It's already out of date, frankly, ladies and gentlemen. It's already out of date because the Umbreon is a thing. Umbreon, I mean, right now it's like a $1,600 card. I don't think that's going to last forever, but it is lasting right now. But then we got the Sylveon, which right now is like a $500 card. It's up there with the Pikachu. And then, your other evolutions, your Espeon, your Leafeon, for instance, up around like $400 as well. And there's all the other evolutions. They're all very big cards. They are all a very big deal. They are all, frankly, making waves. Prismatic Evolutions is a big set. But then, of course, you've also got the Master Ball Hollows. And the Umbreon, at least of that, is a very big deal. And obviously there's a bunch of others as well, but the existence of the Master Ball Hollows does change things quite a bit. But then you've got the other, Ceruledge is $220 right now. Roaring Moon and Dragapult are like $170. These are far higher than we would generally expect them to be. This set, right now, absolutely huge. No, I don't think it's going to last. Although, just to clarify that statement, Prismatic Evolutions is a big set and will always be a big set. What I mean is the frankly ridiculous place we're at now isn't going to last. In time, we know Pokemon are doing a reprint, they've told us explicitly. In time, things will get a bit better and the singles prices will come down. Obviously, Umbreon's always going to be a ridiculous card, and the evolutions are always going to be very sought after, and Prismatic Evolution is going to be a big set. I just mean the reprint, when it comes and is significant enough, will help things to calm down a bit. I'm not saying it's not going to be a big set. Obviously, it is going to remain a huge set. I just mean it's going to calm down. But with all of these special illustration rares, your Master Balls, and the fact that it is an EV-focused set, it's always going to be a big deal. Playability-wise, nah, mate. We've got Badoo, which is obviously a game-changing card, a completely meta-warping card. It's also a common. It's a phenomenal card, stops item cards when you attack with it for 0 energy. Phenomenal. But it's a common card, so I think you can probably pick up the single. And Regigigas is another card which is absolutely legit, helping out decks that can accelerate a whole bunch of energy. And there's an argument that some of the evolutions like Flareon could be good. But that's basically it. It's Badoo, Regigigas, and maybe some of the evolutions. Playability-wise, Prismatic Evolutions is not a big set, and I'm not pretending for a second that it is a big set. What I am telling you is that from a value standpoint, from a hit standpoint, the set is absolutely gigantic. And when we put it side by side with Surging Sparks, it's really simple. Playability-wise, yeah, Surging Sparks is the better set, although, like I say, slightly underwhelming from what we initially thought. But from a hit standpoint, it's not even close. But what about battle partners? Or as it's going to be in the West, Journey Together. Yeah, here's the thing. I've used this example before, but I think it's a good example to use. Over in Japan, I was able to pre-order 5 boxes of Terrestrial Festival, the Japanese Prismatic Evolutions, without any issue. But Battle Partners, the Japanese equivalent of Journey Together, I got 1 box. There was a second pre-order window to try and get a second box, but I queued for 7 hours and then it sold out and I was left out. Make no mistake about it, this in Japan has been a bigger set, which is harder to get hold of. And I don't say that lightly. Now, in terms of playability, actually this is another set that looks like it might actually underwhelm in the end. Iono's Bellibolt decks, good, not wrecking the meta. Hop Zacian decks, good, not wrecking the meta. Lily's Clefairy decks, good, not wrecking the meta. Enzoroark decks, good, not wrecking the meta. Mamoswine! Yeah, Mamoswine gets an EX in this set. It's really good. It's not wrecking the meta. So, it's a good set, don't get me wrong. It's introducing a bunch of viable decks, but we are generally talking lower-end viable decks. So actually not shaping things up as much as we thought it might. But hits-wise, it's going to be absolutely, and I mean absolutely gigantic. It's not out in the West, so we can't be talking about the prices in, US, Europe, etc. comparatively, but we can do that for Japan. And what we can say is that if you compare in Japan, yeah, Lily's Clefairy's bigger than Umbreon. Well, on release, it was a fair bit bigger than Umbreon. It's now basically tied. But still, that's the kind of level we're talking about here. It's a pretty big deal. Iono's Bellabolt is actually now a little bit lower than Pikachu, but it is still very much on the same kind of that level. It's not quite there, but it is there or thereabouts. Those two cards are absolutely gigantic. And Zoroark, special illustration rare, another very big card, which I think an awful lot of people are going to get very excited about, as they should, because it's a very big card. We've got gold cards in the set. I mean, look at Ed and Zoroark, both the full art and the gold next to each other. You'll notice that the full arts of the trainers Pokemon have the trainers in. That is going to make them more sought after. But then the gold have them in, and they're all coloured in and everything. And that's kind of awesome. Plus, we've got some big illustration rares coming in the set. Like, for instance, En's Reshiram, anybody? Or Lily's Rabombi, which could end up, we know in the West we have a habit of taking random illustration rares and really pumping them up a lot higher than they should be. Well, we've got a couple of excellent candidates for doing that in this set. Honestly, and we don't know until it launches, I have to stress this, I think Battle Partners over Prismatic Evolutions. I think in time it's going to prove to be the better set. Now, if you're looking for quantity of hits, you got all the evolutions in Prismatic Evolution, so you've probably got to go there. But if you're looking for big hits on the high end, good playable cards, and a set which is just wonderful for players and collectors, I think Journey Together is the better set. Prismatic Evolutions may well end up being better for hits because of all the evolutions and everything else. But right now, I think Journey Together is the better set. That's what I think. I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely Eric Ridgway, who's been a supporter of ours for a long time now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.